We've always thought of great athletes as the strongest, the fittest, chiseled to perfection. But what's a strong body without a sound mind?
So I play a game, hopefully you guys like it, but it's just called the Chuck Norris game. He's super cheesy, gives thumbs up. Look him up if you don't know who he is, but very straightforward. You just point at the thumb and then you switch. And I make it look easy, but I've practiced a lot, and we were doing that last week with Michaela, and it's a pretty fun game. But
let's see it, Michaela.
It's hard.
So the point of the game is every time you fail, you'll then hit your reset button. So it gives you lots of chances to practice the reset button.
Hey guys, it's Mick. So this is my mental trainer, Clay, that I've been working with for a while now, and he's helped me with some of my mental training and things that help me get through my workouts. So we just wanted to help you guys out and kind of see what I use for my mental training.
That's dope. So I'm Clay Frost. I do mental training. My main goal for everybody that I work with is to help their mind become their greatest weapon. So everything I do is based around that. Lots of mental skills, lots of mindset, lots of whatever you need to be at your very best. Very straightforward. So Michaela and I have been working quite a bit, and it's been really fun. And one of the things that I think would be valuable to go over again with her, because maybe she needs some more help, but also would be valuable for all of you watching, would be the reset button. So can you explain a little bit what the reset button is? Do you remember? I'm throwing you right on the spot.
Well, we tried the reset button to help me, I guess, kind of when I'm starting to get overworked on something or thinking of something too much, and I have like a mental block kind of, and I need to like take a step back. So we just kind of came up with the thing where I close my eyes, take a deep breath, and I came up with the mental cues saying be the best that you can be, and then kind of like a thing, I don't know what you'd call it, but like...
Say nonverbal, I don't know if there's a better word, but like an action, clap, and threat.
So I do
punch,
yeah.
Which was so fun to watch her today, just like keep on punching. I love it. So the main thought behind this is that in training, especially also in performances, there are lots of times when we get frustrated or we get distracted, and an easy way to get back to where you need to be is by resetting. And so it's just a simple 3-step reset, a deep breath, and something that is important to you, maybe a goal, some self-talk, something that's encouraging, be the best you can be. Personally, I really like the phrase, be where your feet are, because a lot of times when our mind goes somewhere else, it's going to the future, the past, or a place that we're not currently at. So be where your feet are, and then move forward with some kind of nonverbal, a clap, fix your ponytail, punch your hand apparently works too. Some people will tap their toes or kind of crack their toes. Just really whatever helps you get from your mind and thinking into something that's actually actionable. And so that's kind of the idea behind that.
It's been working good, so I'll take it.
When do you actually use it? Like what times in your training or in at practice are you like, I need this?
Well, it's been kind of a new thing that we've kind of just gone over the last week, so I've kind of just been starting to use it, but I used it a lot today, especially like going to beam. It helped a lot because it was my last event and I've been doing full routines again, so my body was exhausted and I was feeling like I couldn't do it, and I was like, I have to do a full and dismount out on the floor in my beam routine, and I'm like, there's no way, like my legs are shot because I literally went from floor to vault. And then I just took a step back, and right before I did my mount, I closed my eyes, took a deep breath, said my cue words, and then did a punch. And then I made my routine, and it took me to like a different place and like got me refocused and was like, you can't do it. So it's good.
Love it. That's awesome. So as you're watching, if you're developing your own routine, your own reset button, it's very simple. Again, just 3 steps. Okay, number 1 is to take a deep breath. Number 2 is to have some kind of phrase that's important to you, meaningful. And then last is, again, follow Michaela and just punch your hand and then get to work. I think that's something that's very beneficial because our mind usually wanders. We usually lose focus pretty quickly, and so if you can regain that focus and get back to work, get back to your process, then you can start seeing that process yield results and level up or whatever else. So I got to watch your training today, and there's a few times that I was curious what's going through your head. In particular, what I see is the mental game is between like when something finishes to when you start the next time, that's next rep or the next attempt, right? Mm-hmm. So I saw you a few times right when you finish something like very expressive, which is good, but I was curious, you had finished your entire bar routine and you seemed to kind of stick the landing, at least in my eyes, and then your first words out of your mouth was, you remember that? Uh-huh. What was going through your mind and like, what were you dealing with there?
Well, like I said, we've been starting to put routines together, and I feel like I'm literally dying by the time I get to the very end, and then I finish and I'm just like, ugh, like, can I be done? Do I have to go again? Like, I just made it. Do I really have to do this again? But really at the end, like, I am really exhausted. Mm-hmm. And then I feel like I do kind of start getting some negative thoughts in my head, but then I have to like stop thinking those because I'm like, I still have to get through one more. So sometimes it's kind of hard, but then I take myself back to those thoughts or those cue things that you give me to kind of get my mind reset. But yeah, I'm just old and it's just tiring, so I just
Okay, but I'm always curious to watch athletes when they, because that was a pretty good routine, right? Like, do you feel good about it? Then why wasn't a yes? Like a woo? Because I always like seeing people celebrate when they are making progress instead of a, I'm tired.
I feel like it really just depends on the day. Like some days, I mean today, like I did get the job done, but I still struggled a little bit here and there. So like I feel like for me, I wasn't like totally satisfied with myself, even though like I can't be like 100% quite yet. So I shouldn't be like too hard on myself. But I feel like when we first started doing routines, I made my first routine, I was more excited, and now it's more just like one of those things like, do I really have to do it? So I feel like it's more just like not really celebrating the routine, being more upset, but definitely it's different doing it in the gym than like at a meet, because at a meet, like I feel like I'm more excited and I'm pumped that I made that routine, so I feel like that's definitely something like I should be more proud of instead of just kind of like, whatever, you know?
That's fair. I think that would bring the energy up and continue helping you with the process and getting better. That's just something that I see a lot is athletes, they'll succeed in something, even if it's just a small progress, small success, and then they won't be excited about it. And I like bring up the energy, get excited because that's exciting to make progress. That's something that I talk a lot about. I hope you've seen that by now, that it's all about the process and getting from where you are now just a little bit better, just to the next level. And I think that that's something that it really makes the journey much more doable, right? Do you feel that sometimes you get overwhelmed when you think about the final product and you're like, oh no. Like, what do you think about?
I do. Yeah. I think about that a lot, and I've told you that I always think about, I don't know, being 100% when I should just be, like you said, be like 1% better than you were like the day before. So sometimes I think I put too much pressure on myself and it's not good enough. Like I'm not good enough, you know? So I guess I could probably enjoy a little bit more because I feel like every day I do improve, for sure.
So that's another thing that I think I was going to mention it last time. I don't remember if we got to it, but did we talk about mastery over perfection? Does that sound familiar? So new.
I can't remember. No, because we basically did the... So.
Yeah, we just did the Chuck Norris game.
Yeah.
Let's see it, show him.
Yeah, do it.
This thumb always wants to stay up.
It's tough.
It always does that.
So I play a game, hopefully you guys like it, but it's just called the Chuck Norris game. He's super cheesy, gives thumbs up. Look him up if you don't know who he is, but very straightforward. You just point at the thumb and then you switch. And I make it look easy, but I've practiced a lot, and we were doing that last week with Michaela, and it's a pretty fun game. But
let's see it, Michaela.
It's hard.
So the point of the game is every time you fail, you'll then hit your reset button. So it gives you lots of chances to practice the reset button. It's not important for athletic development, just for developing a reset button. But one thing that I've been really big on recently is Jonas failing too.
Yeah, not doing it very well.
One of the things I've really been focusing on recently is athletes have this like perfectionism that they're like, I need to be perfect. It's about being perfect. And when you remove the threat of being perfect and just strive for mastery, so mastery instead of perfection, like the game changes. Because then you just start thinking about, well, where am I now? What corrections do I need to make to get a little bit better? And then we'll worry about the full process as they come. So to give an example, like if you're climbing a mountain, which I don't think you would want to do, but let's imagine you did want to climb a mountain and you're looking at the top. If you just think about the top the whole time, then you're missing out on the steps where you currently are, and you'll miss some of the obstacles, and you won't. Sometimes you'll feel like you're spinning your wheels because it seems so far away, when if you focus on the day-to-day process and making progress, especially when you look back just that day, like, oh, I've done all this today, focused on these small incremental improvements. And that's something that I love, mastery over perfection. Because perfection doesn't happen. Like, you're not a final product. Even as you finish training, it won't be a final product, but it can be a better product as you continue working on mastery instead of perfection. Do you like that? Mm-hmm. That's something I'm huge on right now, hopefully. But what does that make you, like, what does that change for you, that mindset switch from perfection to mastery? What does that help you with right now, just as I'm talking about it? Does it give you any ideas of how you can approach things differently?
It does, especially going into camp, because it's this week, we leave on Friday. So I think, especially when camp comes, I put all that pressure on myself wanting to be perfect. And I think going to camp is obviously showing like how good your routines are, but it's definitely, we go there to learn and to get better. So I think it helps going in knowing to not be perfect, just to take what I've learned from now going into camp and just being what I can be from what I've practiced so far. But I think in training, I think it will help a lot to like not think about being perfect, because I do that, and I know, like you said, a lot of athletes do it, but I think that if I think about that more, it'll help me be able to get through my routines and knowing that it's okay to mess up and to learn each day and to tell yourself I'm here to learn. So
yeah, I love it. Additionally, what it does is when you are focused on perfection, then you start fearing failure, and then you tighten up, you tense up. When you're just focused on mastery, failure's part of mastery. It's part of the process of learning, and so that's something that again, just mastery over perfection. It's always way important for mastery to strive for it than to live on the razor edge of perfection, because it's only one single thing that can be perfect, right? Mm-hmm. And so that's something I really like.
hey guys, I hope that this is really helpful for you, and I'll be sharing more stuff throughout some of my videos of tips and tricks and different things that I've been working on with clay. So I really hope that you guys enjoyed this video, and we'll catch you guys next time. If you guys have some questions or are interested in working with clay, his information's down below, so don't forget to check that out.
And you don't forget to like and subscribe. I love this. That's a great way to end it. I like this, guys.
I don't know why I'm sitting like this. I think it's because I'm not like able to lean back, so I'm trying to like...
Yeah, this is... because the back's like way too relaxed. Sitting on it feels like super proper.
Too professional.
Yeah. It's gonna be a weird cut.
I'll make it work.
Okay.
Yeah, Jonas is good.
Awesome.